Clearly, as one of the fallouts from this war, fossil fuel indeed is going to see, price hikes throughout the world. I mean, because the contribution Iran gives to, OPEC.
Right.
The contribution the Eastern Bloc gives to, fuel production in the world.
Yeah.
Iran alone, I stand to be corrected now, but then it was about the whole world. Iran alone was pumping up to 4% of the world usage of fuel.
Right.
Iran alone. I don't know if that's increased or what is the state now. But I'm trying. That means that, of course, that 4% alone gone out is an impact. I'm talking about the whole world. So clearly, it will affect prices. And we saw it before even the war started. Okay. We realized that crude oil prices started going up.
Yeah.
Now, as we speak, it's about around $75 or 74 something dollars.
Right.
But somewhere last 2 weeks or so, it was far below that.
It was 65.
65, as it were. So that tells you that the impact is still going to be there. Now, if a government, back home, a government says, look, given the trend and given what is happening, it is important, and in this case, I'm talking about the president. It is important we critically examine what we put forward for ourselves again, and we look at it and say no. I think that would be a call in the right direction. Except for me to add that, look, clearly, we should have planned properly. We should have focused. We should have made projections before even the law is put in the first place.
Right.
Okay, rushing to Parliament and the certificate of urgency, okay, to tax your people on products that you essentially have to buy and come and sell. Okay, in the name of windfall, when you don't even know whether it's stable or it's going to be stable or it's not going to be stable. For me, I thought it was a fruitless exercise. I mean, I thought, with all respect, lazy work was done. Because this is a country where we're supposed to spend close to $400 million every month to import fuel to sell to our people. Okay, and already we have 22% of tax on the fuel we're selling to our people. And we still go under certificate of urgency just because we feel prices are falling. Dollar has actually gone down against our own currency because of this less cash in the windfall. And you rush to Parliament, giddy, giddy, giddy. Hey, I have passed the law. The next moment, reality is flying in your face. I thought that proper scrutiny ought to have been done. No wonder when I listen to economists, lecturers who are indeed stalwarts when it comes to economic matters, most of them express reservation when this thing happened. Some of them even said that, look, they have reason to believe that the sunset clause is not kept in because they envisage or they see some uncertainties going forward. And I say, if you are seeing them, then why did you even impose it on us? To the extent that you're talking about 1 cedi on a liter. That was quite a lot. That's a gallon will give you close to 4 cedi 50 pesos. You expect the Abuboya, the Okada driver that you say you want to help, who is supposed to buy 2, 3, 4 liters a day for his Okada work, paying close to 5 cedi on a gallon. You expect that Uber driver, that taxi driver, we're going to inflict this pain on them. You see, I have always said that little is much when God is in it. Why can't we sit down? In this case, I'm not just referring to NDC alone. Government upon government. Can we look at little stuff that, of course, GRA ought to really focus on and ensure that taxes on them are indeed mobilized? Look, tax evasion is a huge problem in this country. We spoke about property rate. Where have you gone with it? We spoke about gifts. Where have you gone with it? There are so many tax handles that we don't even touch. But yet we get an opening and say, oh, windfall, boom. We are always going to use fuel. What this was going to put on us would have been another 4% increment of taxes on our petroleum product to us. So we thank God that it has been called off for now or suspended for now. They should scrap it completely. Because already, look into Comac's statement. Comac said, look, already, when you take the price builder for fuel, it's even too much. Already taxes. UPPF, gross margin, whatever, name them, all levies. And yet we're going to add more. It's an easy way in the name of going to pay for debt. Not even to use it to do, say, for example, we're building a plant or industrializing our economy. No, we're going to tax you, take the money, pay for debt. Essentially what it means is that we get nothing later. So I think that, look, managers of our economy must sit on the table again. We seem to be talking too much in this country. We seem to be talking too much than doing what actually we're supposed to do. And what we have also failed, I would do, is that we have failed to conscientize the people of this country, the people we are governing. Let them understand that, look, government doesn't sell tomatoes anywhere to make money. You are the same citizen who is supposed to be taxed to pay. I've always given this example. I traveled to Toronto some time ago, and I went into a shop to buy a pen. Then a lady told me that pen was it $10 Canadian dollar or something like that. I know it was $10 or $7. I said, fine. At the point of paying, the lady took her calculator and said, oh, after tax is this. I said, really? Meanwhile, she didn't even tell me there was this tax component on it. That pen was taxed. Question I want to ask. Have we sat down? And I believe our laws has actually, look, GRA is big. If GRA is really going to do their work properly, to minimize tax evasion and make sure that every collection that is supposed to be on tax, we will not be worrying ourselves with windfall. We will allow the citizen to enjoy the windfall and tax them somewhere through indirect taxes. And I believe, look, before you say all this, oh, we've done it, we are finished, we are done, we are still where we are. And I'm saying this not just because I am MPP or because you are NDC, because that is the norm today. The duopoly is what is happening. But nonetheless, we have not looked at nationally what we can do to make or solve up this our economy. We haven't done that. The easy way, let MPP blame NDC, let NDC blame MPP, and we move on, and Ghana is still where we are. But if Kojo Oppong Nkrumah has written this, which is revealing, and we think that we have an idea, at forcing nothing stops you from calling a roundtable discussion, which I know sometimes they do, but implementation is a matter. Okay, let's sit down, look at it, and then we see how we can go. But this easy way of inflicting pain on your people when there are other areas you can go in, of course, for me, is needless.
So I had Setekwe the other day, last week here in the studio. You know, he's a presidential advisor on the economy. Or is the president's advisor on the economy. And I asked him these same questions, you know, why the government had decided to introduce this tax. I won't even say the introduction, why they decided to hike it, because it's an existing tax. It's only been amended. Then he said, the first thing he said, which I thought was quite interesting, was that the time to prepare for crisis is not when you are in crisis. And that the time to prepare for crisis is when the environment is conducive. So there's windfall. Okay, so you know he's always somebody who's believed in building buffers. Yes. So every time we talk to him, he's talking about, you know, how do you call it, sinking fund, and so on and so forth. So, and I thought it made sense to me, you know, so we're making some windfalls as a result of the stability of the CD and so on. And so, if you have to act on one, if you have to save or collect on one CD in order to deal with a crisis or to deal with an imminent or looming crisis, and we all know what's the situation.
I listened to your interview with him.
Oh, with him. And I thought it made sense.
And he made a profound statement even in the course of your interview.
Right.
He said, government should also know that you cannot run an economy for 4 years without crisis.
Yes, he said that.
He mentioned that.
Yes, he said that. That's
cautioning and said that, look, let's not see some short respite as a permanent condition.
Right.
It meant a lot.
Right.
He was just trying to say that, look, your projections, your planning must be top notch.
Okay.
That's exactly what
he was. So the two of you are saying the same thing.
We said yes. So I'm saying that our major issue, we have all the people. Look, all these economics who are smart guys, they give all those reasons, and then yet we don't work with it. All in the name of politics. But I think here I want to say that Ghana must brace up. Because if we said that the tax was meant to come and upset energy sector levy, about $3.1 billion.
Yeah.
Today, we have suspended it.
You mean the energy sector debt?
Debt.
Yeah.
Energy sector debt, sorry.
Yeah.
3.1 billion thereabout. Today, we have suspended it. So
you know the debts are still piling, even as we speak.
Come again?
The debts are still
No,
piling.
I know. So today we have suspended it,
Yes.
and the debt are still piling.
Yes.
So what is the next step? What will be the solution? So the argument was that we're going to use this to solve this problem.
Yes.
We don't have it. And listen, the energy sector debt, for instance, was not just accrued by the NPP alone.
It's a legacy debt.
It's a legacy debt.
Yes.
NPP came to inherit. In fact, I remember President Kufuor's time and on the D-Levy and all those things.
Yeah.
We have been running on this. That's why I said, look, we are really not conscious about the problems that we are faced with. Today, we are saying we cannot get the money again. So how are we going to get money? So if we are not careful, the doomsday that we are talking about.
So how do we deal with this debt?
How
do you
it's staring us in the face. Well, that
because
is why
like we said, it's mounting.
Yeah.
It's going up. It's not going down.
And you see, for the energy sector, ECG, for instance, I think inefficiency is the issue.
Yes.
Listening to news yesterday or so, I hear some estate that ECG went and disconnected the entire estate because of some suspicion of illegal connections.
Yes.
On my way this morning, I hear Ghana Water Company alone owes ECG close to 1 billion Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Ghana Water Company
Yes,
alone.
998.
And the argument is that if they shut them down, they cannot also pump water for us.
Yes.
You get that?
So
and I also hear that
GBC also owes.
GBC also
a lot
owes.
of hundreds of millions.
Aside that ministries who are supposed to have had budgets.
Yes.
Look, go to ministries. Every budget before it's read, you call for inputs from all the departments and agencies. Now, this inputs are given to finance ministry. They put it in the budget. Allocations are made. And trust me, all these payments of electricity are components in the budget. Yet our ministries are defaulting. Meanwhile, monies have been given to them. What is the cranker? What is the problem?
How do we clear this debt?
It is attitude.
No.
As simple as that.
It's there. It's sitting on our books.
It's there.
3.1 billion.
Until we change our attitude and do the right thing, then the debt will continue to rise. Our attitude, the problem. People want to be rich. People want to live in largesse. Yet, they do not want to pay for what it is or suffer to do it.
Yes, so that's medium to long term.
Yes. Well,
and the kinds of things you're talking about regarding ECG and the problems at ECG are structural problems. It will take us a bit of time to fix them. And we can spend the whole day here talking about those structural problems. That's not really the focus of the conversation. The point is that the debts are mounting every second.
Every second.
For as long as we're using power,
I know.
the debts are mounting. And we've talked about it time and again why the debts are mounting. One,
so what's the way forward?
Because of system losses, commercial and technical. First of all, we're not even paying the right price for this commodity called electricity. We're not paying the right price because governments have struggled to tell Ghanaians that, look, what you are paying is far less than what you ought to pay.
Secondly, we default.
Okay, and then even the ones that we're supposed to pay, we don't pay. Okay, or we find very smart, very criminal ways of avoiding the payment of these ones. Now, what is even more problematic is that even if we're paying what we're supposed to pay, we're still short of close to 40%, which we call the under recoveries.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a structural problem which will take a bit of time. First of all, we need to deal with the source in terms of how much we're buying electricity from the IPPs and so on. And that's why all these renegotiations are happening. Because if you go and buy something from Suno Nasagli at $8 per whatever, and you come and sell it to Ghanaians at $3, there's a $5 differential.
I read
Who pays for that $5?
I read something from a judge who said that, look, a company is a legal entity.
Yeah.
But the company operates, and strives on human agents. Okay? That is why I keep hammering on attitude and behavioral change. ECG is a company. ECG has offices from head to toe.
Yes.
Okay? ECG is supposed to be getting their policy direction from the executive as well, through the energy minister and other agencies. Okay? Question is, are these people, these human agents that we're talking about, indeed setting or doing things right to ensure that those companies survive?
Yes.
That's where the question lies.
Right.
And that's why I keep saying that our attitude, our behavior towards managing what is for the public is what we have to look into.
Right.
And to do that, to cure that, we first would have to look at how we can uproot this canker of sheer politicization.
When you say,
This
sorry,
canker
when you say attitudinal change, on those parts, the part of the management of ECG, or the part of every Ghanaian who uses power?
From the top to the down, where the policy is starting, or where the policy starts, come down to the person who is now supposed to work. So the structure you said, yes.
I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt about your incorruptibility. I have known you for many years, and I can tell that you are a man of principle, etc., etc. I can assure you that if they give you ECG to manage, you see, we have caricatured ECG to make it look like they are the bad boys in town.
Yeah.
I can assure you that if we put you at ECG, given the kind of structure that exists at ECG, and I've talked about how you go and buy electricity at a certain rate, very high, and then you come and sell it to Ghanaians through Gridco at a certain rate, and I'm saying there's a differential. So it doesn't matter how competent, how patriotic, how principled, how incorruptible you are. The structure will not just allow you to run the place efficiently. I'm not saying that's the only problem, but I'm just saying it is one of the problems we have. We have, look at the Gridco lines, look at the ECG lines. These are obsolete lines. You will not be able to pipe the power through them in ways that you will not lose 30%. What we describe as technical losses. Okay, so until and unless we are prepared to undertake these structural problems, and I'm not necessarily saying we need a private person. What we need is for us to be honest to ourselves about the fact in terms of what's happening at ECG. We sit and we'll fix it. And you say, look, Ghanaians, the price at which you are paying electricity is not right. You must pay a bit more for electricity. But we will also assure you that when you need your meter, we are there to fix it. We'll also make sure that when your lights go off, we are there quickly to fix the lights. You see, you talked about Ghanaians not wanting to pay their taxes. It's not Ghanaians don't want to pay their taxes.
It is
we should call it lampu. We appreciate the importance of paying the taxes. It is what the taxes are used for. That has always been the problem. So if I'm paying my taxes and I don't feel governance, if I'm paying my taxes and the roads are not being built, if I'm paying my taxes and there's rubbish in front of my house, that's what I talk about governance. I'm not feeling governance. People will either avoid or evade. Remember, the two are not the same.
So with all,
do you get the point I'm making?
Moro.
So it is not like Ghanaians don't want to pay. Give Ghanaians a reason to pay the right price, and they will pay.
Moro, with all that you have said, the human factor is not taken out.
No, I agree with you.
That's the solution. So I'm coming. You see,
yes,
I had a privilege of sitting on tour board.
Yes. I need to bring this practice.
Yes, just to end here.
Yes.
I had a privilege of sitting on tour board, and I was beating my chest at a point. What is happening to us? If in 1965, way back, the government of Ghana thought it wise to say that, look, we need to have a state-of-the-art refinery in Africa.
Yes.
In fact, in Africa then, and from 1965 down the line to where we are today, that facility, with a great deal of respect, is more like a white elephant sitting there. Because that human agent who is supposed to see to it working is not doing what is right. And I'm saying that's exactly what is happening today. Why? We reported missing containers in this country about ECG.
Yes.
How did the matter end?
They've been found. The containers have been found.
Came back to say, oh, we have found it.
Yes. They were probably not missing at all in the first place.
But so those who we arrested with cables and other things and told the world that we arrested some people even and were melted.
It was not related.
So where did they get those cables?
It was not related to what had happened.
Where did they get those cables?
You know, in this country when something happens, people find videos
you reported,
and connect them to the
my good brother, you reported that something is missing.
Yes.
Then you have arrested some people in connection with that. You have actually you've announced to the whole world. The next moment, nothing has happened. We are on. That means there's still a problem. So I'm saying that, look, the major solution to this is we have to be conscious about it. As to whether we will be is another matter. It is the human agents who are supposed to ensure that all our institutions work, who must do what is right, use the law, apply it properly, and then, of course, we'll be where we are as a people. Otherwise, confidence is lost and confidence keeps losing. We keep losing confidence. You understand?
Okay.
Day in, day out.
Okay.
Ghana is truly not seeing what we're supposed to see.
All right.